She only had one wish left, a dream she thought was impossible. She had whispered it to the stars every night, hoping that someone, somewhere would hear her. It wasn't about fame or fortune. It wasn't even about herself. It was about leaving something behind, something meaningful. What she didn't know was that a stranger, a man who had inspired millions but seemed untouchable, would be the one to answer her silent plea. This is the story of how a young girl's unwavering hope and a visionary named Elon Musk collided in the most unexpected way. At just 15, Emily had already faced more hardship than most people do in a lifetime. Diagnosed with a rare and aggressive illness, she spent her days in and out of hospitals, her nights tethered to machines that hummed and beeped, like a constant reminder of her fragility. Yet Emily's spirit was anything but fragile. She had a spark, a quiet determination that set her apart. While other teens dreamed of college, careers, or even their next TikTok post, Emily dreamed of the stars. Not metaphorically, literally. She had always been fascinated by space, poring over books about galaxies, black holes, and the possibilities of life beyond Earth. Her room, small and cluttered with medical supplies, was a universe in itself. Glow-in-the-dark stars adorned the ceiling. Posters of astronauts and rockets covered the walls. A well-worn model of SpaceX's Falcon Heavy sat on her nightstand, its paint chipped from years of handling. For Emily, space wasn't just a fascination. It was hope, a symbol of endless possibilities even when her world felt so painfully finite. But Emily had one wish that stood above all: to meet the man who had reignited humanity's dreams of space exploration, Elon Musk. You see, Musk wasn't just a billionaire to Emily. He wasn't just the man behind Tesla or SpaceX. To her, he was a dreamer, someone who dared to ask, why not? In a world full of impossible, she had followed his journey, from his ambitious Mars colonization plans to his groundbreaking innovations in renewable energy. In Musk, Emily saw a kindred spirit, a person who looked at the vastness of the universe and saw not limits but opportunities. Her wish wasn't born of hero worship or fandom. It was deeper than that. Emily wanted to share something with Musk, a project she had been quietly working on during her hospital stays. It was a letter, but not just any letter. It was a blueprint for an idea she believed could change lives. Emily had envisioned a device, inspired by Musk's work with Neuralink, that could help patients like her communicate more effectively with their doctors and loved ones. Her sketches were rudimentary, drawn with shaky hands and a borrowed pen, but the heart behind them was undeniable. She didn't want pity. She didn't want charity. She wanted to contribute, to leave a mark, however small, on a world she knew she wouldn't be in for much longer. Emily's story wasn't just about her illness or her dream to meet Musk. It was about the resilience of the human spirit. It was about the power of hope, even in the face of insurmountable odds. And as fate would have it, her story was about to reach someone who could make the impossible possible. Little did Emily know, her letter, delivered through a network of compassionate friends and family, had finally made its way to Elon Musk's desk. And when he read it, something stirred in him. Musk, a man often described as cold, analytical, and laser-focused on his goals, found himself deeply moved by Emily's words. She wasn't asking for a miracle. She wasn't asking for him to save her. She was asking for a chance to share an idea that might help others like her. And that to Musk was the kind of dream worth chasing. Stay with me, because what happens next will not only change Emily's life, it will change yours. This isn't just a story about a young girl and a billionaire. It's a story about humanity, about what we're capable of when we choose kindness, empathy, and action over indifference. What Musk did next wasn't for publicity. It wasn't for applause. It was for her. Emily's fascination with space began on her 7th birthday. It was a chilly night, and her father, Mark, had set up an old telescope in their backyard. Wrapped in a blanket, she had peeked through the lens and gasped at the sight of the moon's craters. That was the moment it all clicked for her. The vastness, the beauty, the mystery of the universe. It wasn't just science to Emily. It was magic. But magic doesn't last forever. By the time Emily turned 10, her life had taken a sharp turn. What started as fatigue and frequent colds quickly escalated into something far more serious. The diagnosis was brutal: leukemia. Her family's modest income, earned through her dad's carpentry work and her mom's part-time teaching job, was quickly drained by hospital bills, medications, and treatments that seemed endless. For Emily, life became a routine of hospital visits, for drips and moments of crushing despair. But even in the darkest times, her love for space remained a constant. While other kids in the pediatric ward spent their time watching cartoons, Emily would watch documentaries about the Apollo missions and SpaceX launches. She'd sketch rockets on the back of medical reports, imagining a life beyond the confines of her hospital bed. But dreaming of the stars came with its own struggles. It wasn't just the illness that weighed her down. It was the whispers, the looks of pity from others. "She's so brave," nurses would say. Their voices hushed as if Emily couldn't hear them. Brave, a word that felt heavy, almost burdensome. She didn't want to be brave. She just wanted to be normal, a girl who could run, laugh, and dream without limits. Her parents tried their best to support her passion. Despite their growing financial struggles, Mark had even built her a small bookshelf to hold her growing collection of space books. "One day you'll write your own book about space," he'd said, trying to mask his exhaustion with a smile. Emily had nodded, holding on to his words like a lifeline. But as the years went on, the realities of life became harder to ignore. Treatments weren't working as well as they used to. Bills piled up, and Emily's parents often argued late at night, thinking she was asleep. She wasn't. She'd lie in bed, staring at the glow-in-the-dark stars on her ceiling, wishing she could somehow take their pain away. Emily's dream of meeting Elon Musk wasn't born out of idol worship. It was born out of necessity. She had read everything about Musk, his bold vision of colonizing Mars, his work with Neuralink, and his relentless pursuit of innovation. To Emily, he wasn't just a billionaire or an inventor. He was proof that thinking differently could change the world. And she wanted to be a part of that change. During one of her longer hospital stays, Emily had an idea, a device that could revolutionize how doctors communicated with patients like her. It was inspired by Musk's Neuralink technology, which aimed to bridge the gap between the brain and machines. Emily envisioned a simpler version, a wearable device that could translate a patient's physical symptoms into data doctors could instantly understand. It could save time, she explained to her nurse one night, and maybe even save lives. The nurse had smiled, but Emily could see the doubt in her eyes. "It's a great idea," she'd said gently, "but maybe focus on getting better first." That was the thing, though. Emily knew she didn't have much time. She didn't want to wait for someday. She wanted to do something now. The problem was, how could a 15-year-old girl with limited resources and failing health possibly get the attention of someone like Elon Musk? Emily had tried everything. She wrote letters to SpaceX, hoping they'd make their way to Musk's desk. She created social media posts, tagging him in the hopes he'd see them. She even reached out to local journalists, sharing her story and her dream. But the world isn't kind to voices that are small. For every 100 people who liked her posts, there were thousands who scrolled past without a second glance. And as the months went by, Emily began to feel the weight of disappointment pressing down on her. One evening, after a particularly grueling round of chemotherapy, Emily sat in her hospital bed, clutching the latest rejection letter from a local newspaper. Tears blurred her vision as she looked out the window, where the city lights twinkled like distant stars. "Maybe this is just how it's meant to be," she whispered to herself. "Maybe some dreams are too big." But deep down, she didn't believe that. She couldn't. Despite the setbacks, Emily's resilience shone through. With the help of her best friend Mia, she decided to try one last thing, a heartfelt video message. The two girls spent hours recording and editing the video in Emily's room. Mia handled the camera while Emily, sitting in her wheelchair with the Falcon Heavy model beside her, spoke directly to the lens. "Mr. Musk," she began, her voice steady despite the lump in her throat. "My name is Emily, and I've been inspired by your work for as long as I can remember. I don't know if you'll ever see this, but I have an idea I want to share with you. It's not for me, it's for people like me, people who need hope. If you're willing to listen, I'd love the chance to talk to you." The video was simple, raw, and unpolished, just a girl pouring her heart out. When they uploaded it to social media, they didn't expect much. Maybe a few likes, a couple of shares. But within hours, the video started gaining traction. Strangers left comments, sharing Emily's story with their friends and followers. Local news stations picked it up, and soon, Emily's quiet plea turned into a growing movement. Still, Emily tried to keep her hopes in check. "People like him don't notice people like me," she told Mia, though a small part of her couldn't help but wonder, what if? And then one morning, everything changed. Emily was sitting in her hospital room, scrolling through her phone, when she saw a notification from Twitter. Her heart skipped a beat as she read the words, "Elon Musk has retweeted your video." The tweet had come like a bolt from the blue. Emily had been sitting in her hospital room, absent-mindedly scrolling through her phone, when she saw the notification pop up. At first, she thought it was just another random comment or a like from one of her friends. But this time, the name on the screen stopped her heart cold. "Elon Musk retweeted your video," it read. Emily blinked, her mind racing as she reread the message. This has to be a mistake, she thought. Maybe it's just a fake account, or maybe someone else just used his name. She quickly clicked on the tweet, and there it was. A simple retweet of her video, accompanied by a short message. "I'm listening." The world seemed to tilt on its axis as she stared at those words. Elon Musk, the man she had admired for years, the visionary who dreamed of Mars and revolutionizing space travel, had seen her story, and more importantly, he hadn't ignored it. Her phone rang and it was Mia. "Emily, what's going on? What's all this about Elon Musk?" I don't know. I think he retweeted my video," Emily said, her voice shaky. She could barely get the words out, her hands trembling as she tried to scroll down to see if there was more. Mia gasped. "No way! That's crazy." He actually saw it. "Wait, does that mean he's going to—" "I don't know. I don't know what it means yet," Emily whispered. Her mind was a blur. She had always dreamed of this moment, the moment when the right person would see her ideas and take them seriously. But now that it was happening, she didn't know how to respond. The retweet quickly exploded across social media. Within minutes, the hashtag #EmilyandElon began trending. The video of Emily talking about her dream, her invention, and her battle with leukemia was shared by people all over the world. Strangers from across the globe left comments, expressing their support and admiration for Emily's bravery. But in the midst of all this chaos, one thing was crystal clear. Elon Musk had seen it, and he hadn't just liked it, he had retweeted it. As the hours passed, Emily's phone kept buzzing with notifications. News outlets picked up the story, and the story of a young girl fighting leukemia, with a dream to change the world, was quickly becoming one of the most talked about subjects on the internet. Meanwhile, Elon Musk sat in his office in California, staring at his phone. He had been busy with numerous projects, from SpaceX's ongoing Mars missions to Tesla's latest innovations. But something about Emily's video had caught his attention. The rawness of it, the determination in her eyes, the simplicity of her dream to make a difference. Musk had always been someone who prided himself on thinking big. His ambitions weren't just about wealth or fame. They were about changing the world, about solving problems that others thought were impossible. And here was Emily, a young girl with limited resources, fighting against an unimaginable illness, and yet dreaming of something that most people wouldn't even consider possible, creating a device that could change the way doctors communicate with their patients. Elon had always believed in the power of ideas, and when he saw Emily's, something clicked. He knew he had to do something. But what? Musk wasn't a man who made decisions lightly. His projects, his ventures, they weren't just about throwing money at a cause. They were about real change. And Emily's idea, while brilliant, was also incredibly ambitious. It wasn't just a simple invention. It was a revolutionary step forward in how technology could help those who needed it most. And for someone like Elon, it wasn't just about offering help. It was about solving problems that hadn't even been thought of yet. So he thought about it, weighing his options. And after hours of contemplation, Elon Musk made a decision. The next morning, a message appeared in Emily's inbox. It was from an unfamiliar email address, one that didn't look like spam. She opened it cautiously, her eyes scanning the subject line. "Let's talk, Elon Musk." Her heart raced as she clicked on the message. "Dear Emily, I've seen your video, and I'm incredibly impressed by your determination and your vision. I believe in your idea, and I think we can work together to make it happen. I'd like to meet you in person to discuss how we can bring your invention to life. We'll arrange everything on our end. Flight, accommodation, and the meeting itself. Let me know when you're available, and we'll get things started. Looking forward to hearing from you. Best regards, Elon Musk. Emily read the email 3 times, her mind unable to fully comprehend what she was seeing. She called Mia immediately. Mia, he wants to meet me. Elon Musk wants to meet me. Mia's voice was high-pitched with excitement. Wait, what? Are you serious? I think so. He's going to help me. He wants to bring my idea to life. The news spread quickly. Elon Musk's personal team arranged for Emily and her family to fly to California. It was an overwhelming whirlwind. Emily had been to a few cities before, but this was something completely different. Her parents were speechless. They had always supported Emily's dreams, but now they were watching her step into a reality they had never imagined. Her mother, usually the calm one, was unable to hide her tears as she packed Emily's clothes. "You're really doing this," she whispered, half in awe, half in disbelief. Emily nodded. "It's happening, Mom. I can't believe it, but it's really happening." The day they flew to California, Emily's mind raced with questions. What would it be like to meet Elon Musk? What did he expect from her? What was he really going to do to help her? She had dreamed of this moment for so long, but now that it was actually happening, she felt a mix of excitement and fear. What if she messed up? What if she couldn't explain her idea the way she had imagined? But there was no turning back. This was her chance, and she wasn't going to let fear hold her back. When Emily arrived at SpaceX headquarters, she couldn't believe her eyes. The complex was more vast and futuristic than she had ever imagined. They drove past rows of rockets and vehicles that looked like they were straight out of a science fiction movie. And then she saw him. Elon Musk was standing by the door, waiting for her. He was just as she had imagined, tall, focused, with a sense of quiet intensity that radiated from him. But when he saw Emily, his expression softened. "Emily, it's a pleasure to meet you," he said, extending his hand. Emily shook his hand, feeling a surge of excitement rush through her. "Thank you for believing in me." "I believe in your idea," Elon said, his eyes locked onto hers. "Now let's make it happen." The conference room at SpaceX was silent, save for the soft hum of the air conditioning. Elon Musk stood in front of a whiteboard, the faint glow of the marker reflecting in his eyes as he outlined Emily's idea. The entire team was gathered around, watching the vision begin to take shape. Emily sat in a chair near the back of the room, her hands clenched in her lap. It felt surreal, seeing all these brilliant minds working on her dream. Her dream, the invention that she had clung to for so long, the one that had been a light in the darkness of her illness, was now being treated with the seriousness it deserved. But it wasn't just about the invention. It wasn't just about the device she wanted to create. It was about the way Elon Musk had seen her potential. He had believed in her when so many had doubted. And now, as she sat in this room with some of the brightest engineers and scientists in the world, she felt a powerful sense of gratitude. Elon turned to Emily, his expression calm but determined. "We're going to make this happen," he said. "Your idea is exactly what we need to bring more humanity into technology. It's not just a product, it's a solution that could change the way people connect with each other, and that's something I believe in." Emily blinked back tears. She hadn't expected such words, especially not from someone like Elon Musk, the man who had put humanity on a path toward Mars, the visionary who had changed the course of technology. To hear him say those words about her idea felt like the weight of the world lifting from her shoulders. "We'll start prototyping immediately," Elon continued, "and I'll make sure you're involved every step of the way." It wasn't just a business transaction. It wasn't just a partnership. It was a promise to see her through this, to see her idea come to life, to show her that even in the face of unimaginable odds, change was possible. A few months later, the first prototype of Emily's invention was ready. The device was a small, sleek, wearable gadget designed to help doctors communicate better with their patients, particularly in situations where language barriers or disabilities made traditional communication difficult. The gadget used advanced artificial intelligence to translate speech into visual, tactile, and auditory signals that the patient could understand. Emily's idea had evolved into something far more intricate than she could have ever imagined? Thanks to the team at SpaceX. But this moment, the day the device was ready, was not just about the technology. It was about the people. It was about Emily and her journey, and the lives that would be touched by her dream. Elon invited Emily back to California for the unveiling. Her parents, her friends, and a few members of the media were there, standing in awe as Elon Musk and his team presented the device. It wasn't just the sleek design or the technology that left people speechless. It was the story behind it. Emily stood at the front, her heart pounding in her chest. She had come so far. The girl who once dreamed of changing the world was now standing in front of it, ready to show everyone that even the smallest dream could make a difference. Elon Musk spoke first. His voice was steady, his usual calm confidence now laced with admiration for the young girl beside him. "This is Emily," he said, his eyes turning to her. "She had a vision that I believe will change the way we interact with technology. This invention, and the journey to get here, is not just about innovation. It's about empathy, about creating something that can help people in ways we've never thought possible." The room erupted into applause, but Emily barely heard it. All she could hear was the steady thrum of her heartbeat in her ears, the rush of emotions that had been building for so long. She had imagined this moment in countless ways, but nothing could have prepared her for the overwhelming sense of pride and humility that filled her chest. Her family sat in the front row, tears streaming down their faces. Her mother held her father's hand tightly, both of them overcome with emotion. This wasn't just a success for Emily. It was a success for all of them. For the years of support, the long nights of hospital visits, the countless hours spent holding on to hope, this was their victory too. The demonstration began, and Emily watched as the device was activated. A volunteer, a doctor from the nearby medical center, began to communicate with the device. As the words were spoken into the system, they were instantly translated into visual and tactile signals that the patient could understand. The room was silent as everyone watched in awe. But for Emily, it wasn't just about the technology. It was about what this moment represented. This was the moment when her dream had truly come alive. This was the moment when she had turned the impossible into reality. Elon Musk turned to Emily, a small smile on his face. "You did it," he said quietly. And in that moment, it wasn't just about Elon Musk's brilliance or the incredible technology they had created together. It was about Emily's strength. It was about the power of her vision and her refusal to give up on something she believed in. It was about the young girl who had faced insurmountable odds, and yet had found a way to bring light to the world. The impact was immediate. The device was tested in hospitals across the country, and it wasn't long before it became a staple in medical practices worldwide. It not only changed the way doctors communicated with their patients, it changed lives. Emily's invention allowed doctors to connect with patients on a deeper, more personal level. It helped break down barriers that had long existed in healthcare. And as the device spread to more and more hospitals, it became a symbol of hope. A symbol that, even in the darkest times, humanity could come together to make the world a better place. But the ripple effects didn't stop there. Emily's story began to inspire people around the globe. Her courage, her determination, her refusal to give up on a dream. These qualities became a beacon for others who were struggling, who felt like their dreams were out of reach. People began to send messages, letters, and videos to Emily, telling her how her story had touched their lives. They spoke about their own struggles, whether it was battling illness, overcoming personal obstacles, or simply trying to find their place in the world, and how Emily's journey had given them the strength to keep going. In the end, it wasn't just about the technology. It wasn't just about the millions of lives that would be touched by her invention. It was about the way one person, one girl, had changed the world. It was about the power of empathy, the power of kindness, and the power of hope. And as Emily stood on that stage, surrounded by the people who had helped her bring her dream to life, she knew that the journey wasn't over. There was more to do, more to create, more to inspire, and she was just getting started. As the lights dimmed in the auditorium, Emily stood at the center of the stage, her eyes scanning the crowd. She felt a deep sense of gratitude, not just for what she had accomplished, but for everything that had brought her to this moment. It wasn't just about the device, the technology, or even the recognition. It was about the journey, the people she had met along the way, the struggles she had faced, and the hope that had carried her through it all. Throughout this journey, one thing had become abundantly clear: the power of kindness, empathy, and the willingness to help others could change the world in ways that nothing else could. When Emily first started, her dream seemed so far out of reach. It felt like an impossible task, too big for a young girl, too complicated for anyone to believe in. But she had found allies along the way, people like Elon Musk, who saw beyond the challenges and believed in her potential. They didn't just see her as a young girl with a dream. They saw her as someone who could make a difference. In the face of adversity, she had found the courage to push forward. And because of that, the world had taken notice. The lesson was clear: no dream is too small, no vision too impossible, as long as you have the heart to pursue it. The power of one person's kindness, one person's willingness to reach out and help, had ignited a spark that would continue to grow and inspire. It wasn't just about what Elon Musk had done for Emily. It was about the ripple effect of that action. Because one person took the time to listen, one person took the time to care, lives were forever changed. As she stepped off the stage, her thoughts drifted to the countless people who had reached out to her in the weeks following her story going public. Messages flooded in from people across the globe, sharing their own dreams, their own struggles. Emily had become more than just an inventor. She had become a symbol of what it meant to persist, to remain hopeful, and to believe that, no matter the odds, change was possible. But it wasn't just about the technology or the recognition. It was about the human connections, the people who had lifted her up when she felt alone, the strangers who had believed in her when she doubted herself. And now it was her turn to pay that kindness forward. Emily knew that the journey she had started wasn't just about her. It was about everyone who believed in the power of a single person to change the world. For all of us, Emily's story carries a powerful lesson. It reminds us that the smallest acts of kindness, taking the time to listen, offering a hand when someone is in need, or simply believing in someone when they don't believe in themselves, can have a profound impact. When we help others, we're not just changing their lives, we're changing our own. We can all make a difference. The world can feel overwhelming at times, and the challenges we face may seem insurmountable. But remember Emily's journey and know that change is possible. Your actions matter. Your daily life. Think about how you can make a difference. How can you lend a helping hand? How can you show empathy and kindness to someone who might be struggling? It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. Sometimes the smallest act of compassion can have the greatest impact. So, as we close the story of Emily, let it remind us that we all have the potential to change the world in ways we may never fully understand. It might not always be easy, and there will be moments of doubt, but with kindness, empathy, and the belief that anything is possible, you too can make a difference. If Emily's story touched your heart and inspired you to make a positive change in your own life, be sure to subscribe for more life-changing stories like this. Together we can continue spreading hope, kindness, and the belief that the world is full of possibilities. Don't forget to share this video with others who might need that reminder today.